Shayne, okay. See, that's why you don't try your producer. That's why when your producer tells you something, that is why when your producer tells you something, you listen to your producer. Shayne, Shayne was like, hey, you need to turn on YouTube. And I'm like, Shayne, it's already on because I'm looking at it from the broadcast part. I'm looking at it from a broadcast point of view. I'm not looking at it from the quote unquote watcher's point of view. So I let people catch up with it. Like I said, I'm gonna be done with my monologue in a few minutes. But as you can see and what everybody can see, Democrats are lying and are trying their best. To cover up what happened. Because they see and they know that this man who did this shooting was a Democrat. We know that this man is a Democrat. And what we have seen, they have tried to lie, and people are really getting tired of it. People are seriously getting tired. Now, if you go to YouTube, it says we can't unify with people. We can't unify with people who call us fascists, Nazis, and threat to democracy. The first one is I will never unify regardless. I'm not unifying with them regardless. The second one says no unity and not trying since 2015. In other words, you ain't tried to unify with nobody since 2015. You don't care. Then the last one says we need to unify with people on the Democrat side without stipulations because America first. So if you want to know what that third one means, the third one means we need to unify as all Americans, Democrat and Republicans, for America. That's what we need to do. I'm sorry, but I have not unified, and I may be in a minority tonight. But tonight, I put no unity and ain't trying since 2015. So, if you want to know what the poll means tonight, that's what the poll means. That's what the poll means. If you would like to know what that poll means, and please, if you are on YouTube, please do it. So, because some of you saw that unify without stipulations, USA first. I'm not talking about Republicans. I'm talking about Republicans and Democrats, because Democrats keep telling this lie that it's both sides. It's both sides. It's both sides. I'm sorry. You have called me Nazi. You have called me fascist. You have called me a threat to democracy while they sat there and burnt and looted all during the 2020 over that crackhead fentanyl George Floyd. You fired people because they did not support George Floyd. You fired people because people people sat there and said that George Floyd was not a hero. George Floyd is not a hero. We are watching them. If they're not saying that, then they're saying that the guy was raised in a Republican home, so he's a conservative. Not that. Then you got black preachers. I'm telling you something right now. Black people live to be agitating and annoying. And we know it. If you ever listen to someone, his name is Tommy Sotomayor. Tommy Sotomayor will tell you black folk is like gnats. We love to be annoying. The black community love to show up and disrupt whatever's going on. We just got to come. We just got to disrupt. Let me ask you a question, proud American. 2020, are you did you like the page? Because if you like it and you hit the bell, you will get notifications from it. What I'm doing is I'm just trying to, keep moving around so I can get them off my trail a little bit. So that's why so that's why I'm like, no, there's no unity. There is no unity. We all gonna watch together JD Vance. JD Vance, hey auntie, how you doing? JD Vance broke it down today about no unity. And we got to talk about what Steve Crowder said, because Steve Crowder talked about it today. Steve Crowder said righteous violence. We got to talk about righteous violence. For far too long, the Republicans have turned the other cheek. We've sat there and allowed Democrats to come up to our events, tear stuff up, do stuff, cause disruption, and all we say is calm down, don't do. No, we have to stop that. If Democrats come amongst your group or your church, they should not be allowed to come through, kick around, and destroy stuff in your church. They should not be. No. Comes a time where people got to say, no, we're sick of you. We are sick of you and the stuff that you do. Because the Democrat Party mocks. They're mocking us. And as we see, a lot of it is young, white males. That's what they're seeing. Young, white males. People going on shows. Charlie Kirk really want a Christian, blah, 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 because Charlie Kirk dared to say things they didn't like to hear. Let me say this real quick. This has to be said. If Martin Luther King could have got people to sit down and actually talk with him, MLK was trying to get people just to sit down and talk with him. He wanted to get people to sit down and talk with him. See, back in the 1950s and 60s when the civil rights struggle, they won't sit down and talk to nobody. They didn't care about your feelings. They didn't care about your feelings. And now you catch people on the left and on their media trying their best to try to turn everything away. J.D. Vance is vice president because Charlie Kirk and Don Jr. wanted him as VP. Y'all remember, I didn't like J.D. Vance the first time. I didn't really like him. I'm like, I don't like him. I don't trust him, especially when I found out some of the stuff he said about President Trump. And some of y'all told me, give him a chance. Give him a chance. Give him a chance. And I gave J.D. Vance a chance. And I am so glad that you guys suggested I give J.D. Vance a chance. J.D. Vance is awesome. J.D. Vance is awesome. Now, like I said, when I asked you about to take the polls like we had the phone call last night, this poll is for you to express yourself. If you believe, and let me say this, if you believe that we should unify with all Americans, regardless, no stipulations, we just need to do it, then put that. Don't explain yourself in the comment sections. Just put it. If you believe like I believe, no unity, and not trying since 2015. I ain't tried it since Donald Trump came down the elevator. Nope. Then put it. But without further ado, let's go on and start this section, and we're going to watch it together. I'm going to stop, and we're going to talk about a lot of it.
Shortly after Usha and I left Charlie's family and Charlie's remains in Arizona, I read a story in The Nation magazine about my dear friend Charlie Kirk. Now, The Nation isn't a fringe blog. It's a well-funded, well-respected magazine whose publishing history goes back to the American Civil War. George Soros's Open Society Foundation funds this magazine, as does the Ford Foundation and many other wealthy titans of the American progressive movement. The writer accuses Charlie of saying, and I quote, "Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously." But if you go and watch the clip, the very clip she links to, you realize he never said anything like that. He never uttered those words. He made an argument against affirmative action as a policy. He criticized a specific Supreme Court justice as an individual. He never said anything about black women as a group. He made an argument for judging people of all races and backgrounds by their own individual merits. The very evidence she provides, this hack of a writer, shows that she lied about a dead man, and yet she wrote it. An esteemed magazine published it. It made it through the editors, and of course, liberal billionaires rewarded that attack. Now, of course, even if Charlie had uttered those words, it wouldn't mean that he deserved his fate. But consider the level of propaganda at work. Charlie was gunned down in broad daylight, and well-funded institutions of the left lied about what he said so as to justify his murder.
Now, how many times have we heard that we shouldn't bring up somebody past when they die in police custody? Whoa. How many times have we heard we should not bring up a person's criminal record when they die in the hands of the police? I go back to George Floyd because you remember George Floyd. When we questioned about Breonna Taylor, heck, when we questioned about Trayvon Martin, we were told it don't matter. We're talking about the death of a young man, a death of a woman. That's all they told us to concentrate on. But they are not doing the same. And yes, I'm talking about the black community. When it comes to this Charlie Kirk stuff, the black community is purposefully trying to be the enemy. And I can say purposely trying to be the enemy because I recognize what they're doing. All these black influencers is coming now. I gotta admit, somebody said something I thought I would never hear. Out of the black community, guess who is a voice of reason? Take a guess. Of all the people in the black community right now, guess who is a voice of reason? I'm looking at the comment section so I can see. Guess who is being the voice of reason right now in the black community? Who do you think he's talking about? Who do you think I'm about to play that you gonna be like, I agree with him? Guess okay, Erica. Erica Mitchell must have seen it. Erica Mitchell must have seen what I'm talking about. Yeah, Uncle Ross is look, who I'm about to play is about to shock you so bad, I know it shocked them. It had to shock them. Because I saw him and I'm like, oh God, what he gonna say? And I'm like, huh? He said what? I had to listen to it twice. But the person who is a voice of reason is no other than this man.
I don't care how much you disagree with Charlie Kirk. He did not deserve to be killed. And we should pray for his family. Yeah, he had different views than me. He would attack me by name. But we debate that. We don't shoot at each other. And we don't glorify each other's demise. And we cannot fight evil being evil ourselves. If you become like the folk you're challenging, then you don't have the moral right to challenge them. Only right gonna conquer wrong. Only love gonna conquer hate. And it's time for us to show the God in us is stronger than the demonic powers that have ripped this country apart. We must stand up together. I can denounce what they're doing without denouncing them. If we believe that we have to denounce people, then why do we open the doors of the church? Somebody had to turn you around. You wasn't born holy. You wasn't in here all the time. If God can forgive you, you preach forgiveness to others and try to make them better.
This is soulless and evil. But I was struck not just by the dishonesty of this smear, but by the glee over a young husband's and young father's death. Quote, she says, he was an unrepentant racist, transphobe.
Now, what Vice President Vance is reading, rapper, what he's talking about is that one, Charlie Kirk shouldn't be shot, and two, about debate. You debate people. You shouldn't glorify in somebody's demise. And for everybody who's saying Charlie Kirk want this, Charlie Kirk want that, well, Al Sharpton is literally just gave an old-fashioned black preacher message. When he sat there and said, you won't always save, that message was one of them old school black messages. So that's why I can listen to Al Sharpton on this, because I heard so many black preachers used to preach this. And they was preaching it about forgiving those who wronged us. That message shocked me. That message threw me for a loop.
Homophobe, and misogynist. The Nation wrote, who often wrapped his bigotry in Bible verses because there was no other way to pretend that it was morally correct. He had children, as do many vile people. That's what they said. He had children, as do many vile people. Now, hours before this smear was published, my wife and I had the honor of escorting Charlie's body back to his home in Arizona. We took his wife, Erica, we love you, his parents, his sister, and a few of his best friends with us. And as they offloaded Charlie's casket from Air Force Two, I worried that Erica would collapse with grief. Now, I am a very lucky husband to a very wonderful wife, but I have never been prouder of my wife than that moment as she held Erica in Erica's very darkest hour. And I thought of Erica as I read that disgusting attack on Charlie. He had children, as do many vile people. That's what they said about him. I said the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And I asked Usha what Erica had said to her earlier in the day in a private moment, and I asked Erica's permission to share this. My wife told me, she asked me for advice. Erica asked me for advice on how she should tell her children that their father had been murdered. She asked my wife how to tell her beautiful kids that their father and my dear, very dear friend is no longer with us. And as she was doing it, there were people dancing on that father's grave. Now, I have heard many calls in the last few days for unity and for healing in the wake of Charlie's assassination. You have no idea how desperately I want that, how gratified I was when Democratic friends and even former Senate colleagues reached out to offer their condolences to me. I'm so thankful.
I personally believe Democrats are reaching out to cover their skin. They're doing that just to cover what they've done because they know their rhetoric. Hey, Alexander Ashley, they know their rhetoric caused this. They know their rhetoric caused this. Their rhetoric, their years of remember when Joe Biden sat there at the halls of Philadelphia with a red background and two Marines standing in the back and talked about MAGA Republicans? MAGA is a threat to democracy. MAGA is evil. This is what the president of the United States did at the time, Joe Brandon Biden. Yes, 100% right, Shayne. He is better than Mike Pence.
And I know there are so many like them all across our great country. I am desperate to wrap my arms around them as we all unite to condemn political violence and the ideas that cause it. Psalm 133 tells us, "Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head." Oh, how badly have I craved that precious ointment in recent days, and I believe we can have it. But first, we must tell the truth. It's the only way to honor Charlie, for what was he, if not a man who told the truth in every place, in every environment? Now, the most important truth Charlie told is this, that long ago a man, begotten, not made, came down from heaven, and by the Holy Spirit was incarnate of the Virgin Mary and became man. For our sake, he was crucified under Pontius Pilate and suffered death and was buried and rose again on the third day. Charlie believed, as I do, that all the truth he told flowed from that fundamental principle. I really do believe that we can come together in this country. I believe we must. But unity, real unity, can be found only after climbing the mountain of truth. And there are difficult truths we must confront in our country. One truth is that 24% of self-described, quote, very liberals believe it is acceptable to be happy about the death of a political opponent, while only 3% of self-described very conservatives agree. 3% is too many, of course. Another truth is that 26% of young liberals believe political violence is sometimes justified, and only 7% of young conservatives say the same. Again, too high a number. In a country of 330 million people, you can of course find one person of a given political persuasion justifying this or that or almost anything. But the data is clear. People on the left are much likelier to defend and celebrate political violence. This is not a both sides problem. If both sides have a problem, one side has a much bigger and malignant problem, and that is the truth we must be told. That problem has terrible consequences. The leader of our party, Donald J. Trump, escaped an assassin's bullet by less than an inch. Our House Majority Leader, Stephen Scalise, came within seconds of death by an assassin himself. And now, the most influential conservative activist in generations, our friend Charlie, has been murdered. This violence, it doesn't come from nowhere. Now, any political movement, violent or not violent, is a collection of forces. It's like a pyramid that stacks on top, one support on top of the other. That pyramid's got a foundation of donors, of activists, of journalists, now of social media influencers, and of course of politicians. Not every member of that pyramid would commit a murder. In fact, over 99%, I'm sure, would not. But by celebrating that murder, apologizing for it, and emphasizing not Charlie's innocence, but the fact that he said things some didn't like, even to the point of lying about what he actually said, many of these people are creating an environment where things like this are inevitably going to happen. A couple of months ago, I headlined a fundraiser in Southern California, and since, we'd be out there anyways, my wife and I decided to take our kids to Disneyland one weekend. We had fun, and to be clear, most of the guests said very nice things, or they just left us alone. But there was a loud and very vocal minority that would shout at my children, who were 8, 5, and 3, whenever they got the opportunity. "You should disown your dad, you little shit," one middle-aged woman yelled at my 5-year-old. "Tell the Secret Service to protect the Constitution, not your father," screamed another. Are these women violent? Probably not. Are they deranged? Certainly. And while our side of the aisle certainly has its crazies, it is a statistical fact that most of the lunatics in American politics today are proud members of the far left.
I have said it for years. Democrats demand that Republicans give up our crazies while they strengthen and put their crazies in positions of power. Republicans are told to get rid of our crazies. Oh, get away, get away. But the Democrat Party take their crazies, their bigots, their despicable people, and they give them higher positions.
After Charlie died, one of his friends and one of our senior White House staffers had left-leaning operatives in his neighborhood passing out leaflets telling people what he looked like and where he lived, encouraging neighbors to harass him or, God forbid, to do worse. While he was mourning his dead friend, he and his wife had to worry about the political terrorists drawing a big target on the home he shares with his young children. Are these people violent? I hope not. But are they guilty of encouraging violence? You damn well better believe it. We can thank God that most Democrats don't share these attitudes, and I do, while acknowledging that something has gone very wrong with a lunatic fringe, a minority, but a growing and powerful minority on the far left. There is no unity with people who scream at children over their parents' politics. There is no unity.
This is what I'm talking about. There is no unity. There isn't for people who do that.
With someone who lies about what Charlie Kirk said in order to excuse his murder. There is no unity with someone who harasses an innocent family the day after the father of that family lost a dear friend. There is no unity with the people who celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination. And there is no unity with the people who fund these articles, who pay the salaries of these terrorist sympathizers, who argue that Charlie Kirk, a loving husband and father, deserved a shot to the neck because he spoke words with which they disagree. Did you know that the George Soros Open Society Foundation and the Ford Foundation, the groups who funded that disgusting article justifying Charlie's death, do you know they benefit from generous tax treatment? They are literally subsidized by you and me, the American taxpayer.
And that needs to go. If they are being subsidized by taxes, that needs to go. And please remember to donate to the page. Like I said, because after we get finished with this right here with JD Vance, YouTube, I'm cutting you off, and we're going over to Rumble and Facebook. We're going to be on Rumble and Facebook for 15 minutes. Then Facebook you go, then it's all Rumble.
And how do they reward us? By setting fire to the house built by the American family over 250 years. I am desperate for our country to be united in condemnation of the actions and the ideas that killed my friend. I want it so badly that I will tell you a difficult truth. We can only have it with people who acknowledge that political violence is unacceptable, and when we work to dismantle the institutions that promote violence and terrorism in our own country. Now, our government, you heard me talk to Stephen Miller about this, will be working very hard to do exactly that in the months to come. We're not always going to get it right. We will sometimes move more slowly than you would like. We will sometimes move more slowly than I want us to. But I promise you that we will explore every option to bring real unity to our country and stop those who would kill their fellow Americans because they don't like what they say.
This sounds presidential. If you listen to him right now, he sounds presidential, and he sounds like he ready to get in the ring with Ron DeSantis. But I don't know. Ron ain't backing down.
But you have a role too. Civil society, Charlie understood this well, is not just something that flows from the government. It flows from each and every one of us. It flows from all of us. So when you see someone celebrating Charlie's murder, call them out. And hell, call their employer. We don't believe in political violence, but we do believe in civility. And there is no civility in the celebration of political assassination. Get involved. Get involved. Get involved. It's the best way to honor Charlie.
When the last time you heard a Republican say, get them fired? That's what I'm talking about. When the last time have you ever heard a Republican say, we're going to war with them and we're going to war to win? When the last time have you heard that? That sounds good. I ain't gonna lie. I was listening to it, but that sound good.
His legacy. Start a chapter of TPUSA or get involved in the one that already exists. If you're older, volunteer for your local party, write an op-ed in your local paper, run for office. I can't promise you this is going to be easy. I can't promise you that all of us will avoid Charlie's fate. I can't promise you that I will avoid Charlie's fate. But the best way to honor him is to shine the light of truth like a torch in the very darkest places. Go do it. We owe it to our friend to ensure that his killer is not just prosecuted but punished. And the worst punishment is not the death penalty, but the knowledge that Charlie's mission continues after he's gone. St. Paul tells us in the book of Ephesians to put on the full armor of God. Let all of us put on that armor and commit ourselves to that cause for which Charlie gave his life, to rebuild a united States of America, and to do it by telling the truth.
Y'all, that was good. That was good. That was good. That was good. Now, if you are on YouTube, we are about to go to Rumble or Facebook. Rumble or Facebook. If you are on YouTube, we're going to Rumble or Facebook, whichever one you want to go. But we're only going to be on Facebook for 15 minutes. And we're going to let the rest of it go to Rumble. Okay? So, if you're here, and we had a pretty good vote tonight. Look at this. We can't unify with people who call us fascists, Nazis, and threat to democracy. Over 50% say I will never unify, regardless. Then some said no unity and not trying since 2005. And then, of course, you have the one that says unify without stipulations, USA, America first. And like I said, that simply said, hey, we believe that we have to come together as Americans, no stipulations. So that's what that stood for. So, if you would like to donate to the page, you can. Please donate to the page, because those things help keep the page going. Now, it is now 23:20. It is time to get off YouTube and go to Rumble. Hey, Rumble, YouTube, we're about to go. YouTube, we're about to go. See you on Rumble and or Unapologetic Conservative Republican.